What's going on, guys? For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Ty, and today in this video, I'm going to be ranking 14 different popular film franchises. Franchises where I have seen every single film that they consist of. Some of them are better than others, but either way, we're just going to be talking about them today. And the reason that I'm making this video is actually because I wanted to make a video that I just felt like making because today's actually my birthday. The day that this video is dropping, I am 23 years old. July 1st, 2002, I was born. So I was like, you know what? Let me just talk about something I just feel like talking about, my bread and butter. I love talking about blockbusters, so let's just make a chill, enjoyable little video, and yeah, let's just talk movies. And if you want to give me a little gift and subscribe, that would really mean the world to me. But as you guys can see here, we've got 14 different franchises here. I'm only going to be including the films, so if we talk about like the MCU, not going to be counting the shows, just the films. Same for like Star Wars and stuff. So yeah, as you guys can see, we've got 14 different ones, so let's just jump right into it. The first franchise that we're going to be talking about is going to be Transformers. This franchise has been going on for about 20 years now. I haven't seen like the 1986 one, but just talking about the Michael Bay films, then you talk about Transformers 1, which just came out. This is a bit of a weird franchise because I feel like it came out really hot with that first movie, which I absolutely love. Love Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, all the actors in there, John Turturro. But then as things sort of progressed, I'm not the biggest fan of like, Revenge of the Fallen necessarily. I kind of like that movie. I'm a bit of a defender on it, but I actually don't really like Dark of the Moon. I know that's a bit of a hot take. Then Age of Extinction and The Last Night are just awful. But then you got Transformers 1, which I thought was awesome. I'm going to put this in C. Also, by the way, Rise of the Beast I thought was awful. This franchise is pretty bad overall, but honestly, it has a lot of sauce, especially for Michael Bay. And then Transformers 1 did a lot for this franchise. I think that it would have been in D. Transformers 1 raises it. I love the original. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. And I am a Transformers fan. I want to see it succeed, but I just don't think they've been able to really capitalize, at least in the past like 10 or 15 years pretty much, besides again Transformers 1. But yeah, realistically they've been kind of hit and miss. Next up is going to be the Monsterverse. See, the Monsterverse is a bit weird because this is a franchise that drops like one film every 3 or 4 years, and I feel like they never really make too big of a splash. People enjoy them like decently enough, but I feel like they never make bad movies, but they also never make like great movies. They always just make like average films. For me, Monsterverse films I'm always actually pretty excited to see. Like, I'm a fan of the Monsterverse, but I feel like there's never really been like a clear direction as to like where this franchise is going. Like, they're making some shows, but it's not like there's a movie per year. And I'm not saying you just gotta keep churning them out, but also I'm kind of just like, okay, I guess we're just gonna put one out every 4 years, some decent film, and we're never really gonna make anything better or worse than that. I do think there are bad films in this franchise, don't get me wrong, and there are some good ones, but I feel like it just doesn't have like that spark. Like, there's nothing just exciting about this franchise. I'm going to put it in C, and this is the thing. I'm actually going to put it behind Transformers because even though I think that the Monsterverse is more consistent than Transformers, like I think Transformers has way worse films, at least Transformers is going for something. Like, Transformers 1 is a banger. The first Transformers movie from 2007 is a banger. The Monsterverse is just pretty mundane. It's pretty just average, not trying to do anything too crazy. And I like it as a franchise, okay? But at the same time, I wish that it would just take a bigger swing and try to make like a pretty good film. Not, I don't need it to be like, Schindler's List, but I'm just saying it just to be something decent, Next up is going to be the Sony Marvel Universe. Listen, this is a universe where I've seen every movie, so I had to put it on here, especially because there's somewhere I was missing some movies, so let's just throw it in an F tier, right? I mean, how much worse does it get than this? You want to talk about a franchise that is truly just corporate garbage? I mean, the Sony Marvel franchise, what does it even offer? Maybe Venom? I honestly am not really a Venom fan. There isn't even like sparks of like greatness in here, like nothing whatsoever. Maybe if you're a Venom enjoyer, like I just said, sure, maybe you think he says some funny little lines, but I don't really like Venom. I didn't like Kraven. I didn't like Morbius. I didn't like, what else even came out? Madam Web. I just think this is truly like such a great example of what not to do with your franchise, because it's funny how they failed on all aspects. Like, they didn't even really bring in that much like great talent. Like, yeah, sure, some people. They made bad movies, and on top of that, they had no plan. So they basically did everything wrong, and it's so funny that the Venom movies basically kept this afloat and somehow kept them alive because, good God, it's so awful. Next up is going to be Planet of the Apes as a franchise. I think this is easily going to go in B, like a high B. The only thing keeping this out of A is, and by the way, this is going to count the trilogy from the 2010s and then the new movie, is actually going to be that new film. That's actually the thing that's kind of holding this back a bit. Also, I think that the first film, Rise, is like I was going to say decent, but I think it's a great movie. It's just not, like, excellent. Like, does it deserve to be an A tier to really bring it up? No, but I think the Planet of the Apes films, like, overall, like, on average, are, like, 8 out of 10. Like, awesome. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, oh my god, one of the greatest science fiction films that I think I've ever seen, or, you know, you could say post-apocalyptic films. But War I really enjoy. This new film kind of brought the average down for me, honestly. If we didn't include the new film, I think the trilogy is an A tier, but the new film kind of brings it down a bit. And then my least favorite, which might be like War or Rise, I think is like an 8 or 7.5 out of 10. But this is just a super consistent trilogy. Caesar's just presence is being felt. One of the greatest characters of this century. Andy Serkis is playing his heart out. Matt Reeves directed the hell out of those past two. That wasn't the new trilogy. And again, this new one that came out, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I was so hyped for it, and it was kind of just a dud for me. I feel like no one ever talks about it either, so that kind of shows you what happened with that. And also, there's like no whispers of a sequel, so I don't know what's going on with Planet of the Apes, but I guess we'll see what happens with it. Next up's going to be John Wick. I'm going to be putting John Wick at the back of B, and hear me out on this, hear me out. I think John Wick, overall, is like an A franchise, quality-wise, like it should go an A. I just personally am not like the biggest John Wick guy, and that has nothing to do with the actual quality of the films. I'm just going to be basing this off of like my own personal enjoyment. I just enjoy the Planet of the Apes movies more. I'm more of like a sci-fi guy than an action guy. But the John Wick movies are absolutely awesome. Like, this deserves to go an A. I'm just not like a massive John Wick fan. Ballerina I really enjoyed, and I feel like those first 4 films are all really solid. My least favorite's probably 3, but then 4, oh my god. I mean, you want to talk about one of the greatest action films I've ever seen in my life? Just really brought it all. You got Bill Skarsgård in there as the villain, and John Wick is just ruthless, man. I feel like that's the most beautiful film as well. The first 2 I also really enjoy, and I'm kind of excited to see what they do next with John Wick 5 if they make it, but hopefully not, because I feel like he had such a great ending. Again, back of B might seem rough, but again, I think they're really great movies. I'm just not like the biggest John Wick fan in the world, if that makes sense. Next up is going to be Jurassic Park. Let me just start off by saying this. Jurassic Park does not have the best movies, okay? As a franchise, it doesn't. But Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World, whatever you want to call the franchise as a whole, is actually one of my favorite franchises. I know that sounds kind of crazy. I'm just nostalgic for it. And it's funny because Jurassic World Rebirth is pretty much dropping on my birthday. Unfortunately, it's like the next day. It's coming out July 2nd, but it's basically coming out on my birthday. So honestly, I was excited for this movie. I had no shame in saying that. I'm unapologetically excited for the film. So I know it's a bit weird to rank this before we have a new entry coming in, like the next day basically, but had to put out a video today because I just felt like it. Jurassic Park is going to be going right at the top of B. Now listen to me. Please do me a favor and listen to me. I think that these 2 franchises right here have better films. I would actually agree. I personally just love the Jurassic Park franchise. I think Dominion's awful. I think Fallen Kingdom's like okay, but I really like the other 4, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Rebirth. Again, I know that a lot of people dog on the Jurassic Park franchise. I don't blame them. I really don't. If you say they're all bad besides the original, fine. But the original Jurassic Park, which I haven't even mentioned yet when I'm talking about this franchise, is arguably my favorite movie of all time. And then from there, I still think The Lost World's really good. I really enjoy Jurassic Park 3. And again, sure, I think Planet of the Apes and John Wick has better films, but I still just love Jurassic Park more. It's one of my favorite franchises. I love the lore with Isla Nublar, and then you've got Isla Sorna. I just think it's cool, I'm sorry, and I'm just really excited to see what this franchise turns out. It's my one true guilty pleasure franchise, and I understand why people say they're bad, and I understand why they wouldn't like it, but at the end of the day, you know what? I'm just going to puff my chest out here and say, I don't care, I like the Jurassic Park franchise. Sorry guys, I just love dinosaurs. Next up, we're going to go with Indiana Jones. This is a weird one because you've got an all-time great trilogy and then 2 more films tacked on in the modern age. Sort of like the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. I actually haven't seen those newer 2, 4, and 5, so I didn't include it. I've only seen the original trilogy. But I've seen all 5 Indiana Jones films. And what do I think about the Indiana Jones franchise as a whole? See, I love The Last Crusade. That's easily my favorite here. I think I'm going to be putting Indiana Jones probably at the back of B here. And I think I'm going to be putting it like right above John Wick because I just love The Last Crusade. Temple of Doom I think is really good. I really like Raiders. I even enjoy Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I think the one extreme dud for me is Dial of Destiny. It's 3 hours long. It's a bore. But I love Indy and I love Sean Connery playing his dad in that 1/3 film. And I just think it's a really good franchise overall. Where's it going from here? I don't know. I think it's pretty much done, quite honestly. I think I actually might move this. No, I'll leave it there for now. I'll leave it towards the back of B. I just think it's a really solid franchise overall. You know, that first trilogy, it's pretty good, but then from there, it does start to teeter off a bit, but either way, Spielberg's got that magic at the end of the day. Next up's going to be the X-Men franchise. I know that's not like the actual X-Men movies logo, but we're just going to be talking about that. Of course, we've got the original trilogy, then we've got like the prequel duology with First Class and X-Men Days of Futures Past, then we've got like all the weird Wolverine like sequels, and then we've got Logan, and then we've got the newer X-Men films. The X-Men franchise is kind of weird because then you've got Deadpool, you've got all these weird things going on, the New Mutants. There's so much going on. I really love the X-Men franchise. I think that I'm going to be throwing the X-Men in B, okay? I think that they have so many misses, but the thing is, at least they swing for the fences with some of their hits. I'm going to put the X-Men right here behind Jurassic Park. Actually, I'm kind of debating which one actually is better films. I think I'm going to put the X-Men right here. I just personally love the X-Men films. I think that first trilogy, the first two are really great. Last Stand kind of falls off a bit for me. Those Wolverine sequels or whatever, there's Wolverine like Origins, and then there's the other one. I think those are bad, but I really enjoy Logan. First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past are incredible. But then you've got the garbage X-Men films, like I really hate Apocalypse. I also hate like New Mutants or whatever, and then Dark Phoenix, don't even get me started. It's a bit of a weird franchise, but at least it swung for the fences when it was at its peak. You've got your Logans, you've got your first Deadpool movie that I really like, you've got your First Class, and you've also got your X-Men Days of Future Past. God, I'm forgetting all the names here, but even though it has a ton of duds, I still think at least it's trying to do something great. And again, at the end of the day, this tier list is based off of my own personal enjoyment. So I still love this franchise. I think it's pretty good just overall from start to finish. Even though it has plenty of bumps in the road, like trust me, I understand if you'd say that's pretty bad. Next up, it's going to be Karate Kid. This is going to be going in D. I think the first Karate Kid movie is the greatest sports film of all time. And then it just takes an absolute nosedive. Oh my god, I haven't seen Cobra Kai, but I really enjoy the second film. I think it's like a cute little film. And then from there, the third I think is bad. The next Karate Kid, the one with Hilary Swank, I think is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And then the Karate Kid Legends film that just came out, I thought was absolutely awful. This is one of the worst franchises I've ever seen. It's not the worst, though, because it's being held on by that first film, and I know that's kind of what a lot of people think about Jurassic Park, but I just think dinosaurs are much cooler than karate, so that's just a personal thing. And yeah, overall, it's going to be going in D. I don't have that much to say. I really like Mr. Miyagi and Daniel's relationship. I think that's the strongest part of this entire franchise, but yeah, overall, not consistent whatsoever. Next up is going to be Harry Potter. Harry Potter is going in A. Harry Potter, I think, in my opinion, is the most consistent franchise ever when it comes to maybe over 5 films, we'll just say. Because obviously, you know, there's trilogies and all that, but there's 8 films, and I think every single one is at least, like, great. And then just above, amazing masterpieces, whatever words you want to use. I don't want to get into all the technical words and semantics, but Harry Potter's arguably my favorite franchise, next to another one that we're going to be getting to in a minute. I just feel like Harry Potter is just at this point where there still is room to do more, but we just have this incredible 8-film saga. There's also the Fantastic Beasts. I don't really know if you count that. Even if you do, I don't really care. I still think it's A tier. I love Harry Potter to death. I just think that the character arcs are so beautiful. The world building is just so vast. Yes, it's built off of books as like source material, but either way, I just think it's incredible. I think it's an incredible franchise, one of the greatest ever, especially those 8 films that we're talking about. Next up is going to be Mission Impossible. This is also going in A. I think this is another franchise where I don't think it's as good as Harry Potter, but from start to finish, it's just so damn consistent. I think it has some more bumps in the road, in my opinion, compared to Harry Potter. I think that the third Mission Impossible film, I'm not really a big fan of, honestly. And also, the Final Reckoning kind of disappointed me, I'm going to be honest. But besides that, Ghost Protocol, Dead Reckoning, Fallout, Rogue Nation, the first one. I even really like Mission Impossible 2, John Woo's little kind of swaggy film you've got in there, his saucy film. Really enjoy that one. I love Mission Impossible. It's going to be going in A tier. I don't really care what anybody has to say. Next up is going to be the MCU. Again, this is a personal tier list. This is a personal tier list. The MCU is going to be going in A. The MCU is going to be going right above Mission Impossible. I think that if I was grading this completely objectively, and again, this is maybe just because I'm in a bit of a birthday mood, we're just talking about the things that I love personally. If we're being objective here, I think that this is definitely closer to B tier, especially because of the past couple of years. But I cannot deny the fact that I just absolutely love this franchise. And again, I'm just talking about how much I love each of these on their own. I love the MCU. The MCU is my favorite franchise right next to Harry Potter. I'll just put it right above there. I've dedicated so much time and love and effort into these characters, and I always dog on it. I dog on this franchise. I hated the past couple of years, quite honestly. It's been a rough stretch. It's had its gems for sure, but it's had so many more misses. But with that being said, that those first 3 phases were so special, were so consistent, so many great character arcs, so many great moments, so many awesome films, so many hype moments, so many emotional moments. I love, like, 50 characters from this franchise. How many franchises have, like, 50 characters that you love? Besides maybe, like, Harry Potter? I mean, there really isn't anything like that. Again, just off personal enjoyment, and again, I will dog on the MCU any day of the week. I think that it makes so many mistakes, but just my own personal enjoyment when it comes to a tier list, I think it's just going to be going on the top. I love it. It's my favorite franchise overall. Next up's going to be Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars is such a weird franchise to me, man. Where do I even put Star Wars? I'm going to be putting Star Wars in B, okay? Because I do care about Star Wars, but I just think it has so many misses as a franchise. I'm going to be putting it, like, right here, right above Planet of the Apes, but I honestly think I like X-Men better, call me crazy. I just prefer some of those films. The original trilogy, I actually didn't really grow up watching. I didn't really grow up watching Star Wars as a whole. I actually played the Lego games, but I think the original trilogy is great. I'm not going to lie. I don't, like, love the original trilogy, but I think that's just because I don't really have nostalgia for it. Love Revenge of the Sith. The other 2 prequels are super rough. I really like Solo. I think that The Last Jedi is awful. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. Same with Rise of Skywalker. I like The Force Awakens. I love Rogue One. It's just such a weird, bumpy road where it kind of reminds me of X-Men, where it is the highest highs and the lowest lows, but at least it went for something, and at least it's building out this cool world. I think that Star Wars, you know, I could see why some people would have it in A. I personally just have it towards the middle of B, because there's so much lore that I don't know about. I'm not going to act like I'm the biggest ball knower of Star Wars, because I'm really not. I haven't seen Clone Wars. I haven't seen The Bad Batch. I haven't seen most of the Star Wars shows, actually, like the live-action ones, because I have no interest in that mid, personally. And again, we're just talking about the movies, but yeah, Star Wars is going to be going in B for me. I think it's, like, just super solid overall. And then we've got the DCEU. This is a bit of a weird one for me because I really do enjoy some of the movies in here, but as a cohesive universe, I think it has to go in D. I'm going to put it over Karate Kid for sure. Like, I think it wipes Karate Kid. I actually am a Batman v Superman defender, but that's kind of one of the only movies that I like. They've got Suicide Squad, which I love, but that's just because James Gunn came in and kind of just directed his own movie, then just dipped, basically. It's kind of like a hit and run at that point. They're rebooting this universe for a reason. There's just so many duds and so many bland films out of here, but unlike something like the Sony Marvel Universe and unlike the Karate Kid, I feel like there were sparks of greatness in this franchise. Like, you could see some cool stuff every once in a while, kind of just flashing, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's, like, really all that great. I think that there's just so many movies that are they're just not really going anywhere. Again, there wasn't even a clear plan. Sure, if you want to say there was the Zack Snyder plan, whatever, but I don't really like this dark, like, hopeless, soulless universe. I do think there are some good movies in here, don't get me wrong. I do for sure, but the bad movies are really, really bad, and I feel like the overall sense of just directionlessness, or whatever you want to say, the fact that there was no direction really turns me off to it. And yeah, this is going to be my own personal list of, like, my favorite franchises and just where they rank for film franchises where I've seen, like, basically all the films. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Had a good time making it. Again, don't take this tier list too seriously. This isn't really an objective list, just kind of more like my own personal feelings and the way that I would rank my own favorite franchises. But listen, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know what you think of my list. Again, this is my list, so I want to hear yours down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.